Welcome to the Gen X Journey podcast. Dive into all things important to Gen Xers, from advice on aging parents, expert interviews, product reviews, and heartfelt conversations. So put down the joystick, grab your Walkman, dust off your old yearbooks, and welcome to the Gen X Journey.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Gen X Journey podcast. This is Keith Abbott. I am here with Noel Kirsch and Steve McKelkey, my buddies. Hope you all are doing great. It is finally starting to warm up. Hopefully we don't get blown away in a gale storm hurricane this weekend. But other than that, I'm glad it's spring, other than the light change.
Yeah.
The time change.
Screw that time change.
And I tell you what, there's something about it. Like, I like the light later, but I hate the beatdown of the just getting up. It's just horrible.
Yeah.
So if you guys were going to pick the right time change, would you pick the earlier one or the later one to just permanently stay with?
Whichever one we pick, we just need to stop with the
with the flip flop
time changes. God, man, Sunday was brutal.
It was. Today wasn't much better.
Yeah.
So
it usually takes several days,
Yeah.
several days to kind of get accustomed to it.
It is. It's like jet lag. It's weird.
It is.
So, anyway, that's not the topic of our conversation. I had to ask though, since we're here.
Yeah. What would you say, Steve? Early or late?
Well, I relish when we fall back an hour and get that extra hour of sleep, and I feel like it takes me 3 months to recover from losing 1 hour of sleep. I don't know why, but it is nice to have the light later in the day. I personally would prefer to have the earlier nighttime during the summer when it's hottest, so the evenings get cooler quicker.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. I know they did that for the farmers and all that stuff back in the day, and guess what?
We're over that technology.
Yep.
So anyway, but that's not our topic for the day. I'm going to turn it over to Steve for our topic. So Steve, why don't you tell us what we're going to talk about today?
Yeah. So, as Gen Xers, we're not the spring chickens we once were. We're still kicking butt on a daily basis, but I think it's as we get older, and all three of us in our 50s, and it's important to be mindful of how we take care of ourselves, how we stay in shape physically and mentally. And so really that's going to be a lot of what we talk about today. And so we've pulled several topics that we'll bring up on today's show. First thing is really just revolving around regular physical activity. And Keith and I agree that Noel is the most physically fit of the three of us.
Absolutely.
He
definitely the most active for sure.
Yeah.
As far as health activities.
So,
Yep.
Noel, why don't you run us through some thoughts around that topic?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. So, of course, back when we were kids, we used to be able to eat whatever we wanted and not gain a pound. You remember we used to be able to just eat not only whatever we wanted to eat, but eat whenever we wanted to as well. So I remember, there was a time in my life when I was so skinny that I was drinking milkshakes like at night before I go to bed to just try to put some bulk on, and it still didn't help. Like my metabolism was just through the roof, but I've defeated that. I've overcome that stage in my life by a lot. But yeah. And then like exercise, back to us when we were kids just meant we were just playing outside, riding our bikes, doing whatever we used to do. And that was considered enough exercise for us back in the day. But obviously those days are gone, but staying active is still more important than ever. And actually, as we get older, we need to continue to be active, because we're not 20 anymore. But that doesn't mean that we have to feel old. I mean, we can continue to feel young, and our bodies can continue to perform well. But it does mean we have to take care of them. And, for us, I know some of the challenges that we face as we're at this age is really just finding the time to go do it. Making it a priority, because there's so many other things that are competing for our time and attention. But it's still so important. Just a little bit of time on the treadmill or going to the gym or just developing some healthy habits can really pay huge benefits to us. I know we'll probably talk about sleep as well, because sleep is a big thing too that is so important to our overall health. But a couple quick stats that I grabbed in my research: after we hit age 40, we naturally lose about 1% of muscle mass per year if we don't stay active.
Wow.
So if we stay on the couch, don't do anything from the time we're at age 40, not doing anything, we will naturally lose about 1% of our muscle mass every year. 80% of adults don't get enough exercise, and Gen X is leading the charge in activity.
So I believe that.
That's a lot. So only 20% of us are actually out doing something on a regular basis and getting enough exercise. So it's a big problem. But the good news is that even 10 to 20 minutes a day of the right movement can make a huge difference in our overall health. So it doesn't have to be, you don't have to think CrossFit, you're not trying to like kill yourself. You just need to be doing something, and that something can be walking, can be jogging, can be riding a bike, can just be something that is just getting your heart rate elevated just a little bit for 10 to 20 minutes. So you don't have to really exert yourself too much to get just enough exercise to keep your body going.
And definitely, before we keep going, I guess I should say, everybody's different. And while we're suggesting some good options for us as listeners, please consult your physician as to what would be best for your body, right? We're suggesting things that we enjoy, but absolutely, I mean, we don't want you to take us as face value. Everybody's different. Everybody's different. Every stage of life is different, and definitely consult with your physician on what is optimal for you. But I like these suggestions. Keep going, Noel.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously consult with your doctor on anything and what's proper and right for you. If you have physical limitations, obviously, you just need to find the right thing. But these are just general things that we found in research. So, first of all, like why exercise matters now more than ever at this age. First of all, muscle and bone health. Strength training isn't really all about bodybuilding. It's really about just avoiding injuries, preventing osteoporosis, and just staying independent as we age. So the more we lift, more we exercise and do strength training, better our muscle tone is going to be, better our bone health is going to be, just better overall for our bodies. Second thing is just for metabolism and weight control. Obviously, I talked about earlier about our metabolism slows down, but movement helps keep weight in check, keeps your metabolism active and moving. And there's a lot that goes in metabolism: eating the right things at the right times of day, not eating the right things or drinking the wrong things at the certain times of day can obviously play a lot into your metabolism, overall weight control. Third is just mental health and stress relief. Exercise helps manage anxiety, depression, and stress, which we Gen Xers have plenty of, obviously, in our day-to-day lives. And then finally, just energy and longevity. Just regular movement boosts energy levels and reduces the risk of diseases like diabetes and heart disease. And really, I've experienced this, that the more you exercise during the day, the better your sleep is at night. You just get better, deeper sleep, more restful. Then again, sleep is just key to everything, really. I mentioned a few of these, and I'll skip through some of this, but really some of the barriers that we have that kind of help us overcome them is just, I don't have time, trying to find, I have old injuries, things that I've hurt in the past. A lot of people don't like to go to the gym for a lot of different reasons. And then I just don't have any motivation. Just finding time to do that, finding the right movements that, if you do have old injuries, that can keep you healthy, but not obviously re-aggravating any old injuries, and then finding a good place to work out, like in the gym that you feel comfortable in, and then just again finding what motivates you, finding that why am I doing this. There's a lot of benefits to exercising on a regular basis, and we talked about a few of them, but just find what is your why. Like what is it that helps you? What is it that you're trying to get out of this? And having gotten into good habits and gotten out of them, when I'm in exercising in a good habit and in a good rhythm of going in all the time, there's so many benefits to my mental, physical, everything. It's just, it helps everything. So there's a lot of good reasons to do this on a regular basis. But
I'm with you, Noel. When I exercise, I feel like the fog is lifted from my brain. You're right. You sleep better. You just have more I feel like more self-confident when I do it. It works so good. I stop. Go figure.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Yeah. You're like, well, I don't need this anymore. I feel just fine.
Yeah, I feel just fine. Let's stop and eat a tub of lard.
Doing that. Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't want to hog up the whole episode,
no.
But
this is the important part. This kind of stems to everything else, I think.
Yeah. The best workouts, just a couple of workout suggestions. Strength training, 2 to 3 times per week is real good. Just body weight exercises, push-ups, pull-ups, dumbbells, resistant bands, things like that are pretty simple to do. You can also buy some of these things and have them in your garage or in your home. So if you only have a few minutes to work out, it's easy to get to and do. There's also a lot of apps too that can give you workouts. Have a couple of them that I use that will, you tell them how old you are, you tell them what your goals are, you tell them what your weight is, what your target weight is, or whatever, if you're trying to lose weight. And then it will generate workouts for you and then actually like notify you when it's time to work out. And so it just sort of is at a bit of accountability, but it's also kind of coaches you as well on what to do, and even has videos to show you like how to do the movements if you're not fluent with how to work out and stuff. But a lot of those things are just, there's so many good tools out there these days that that you can use to kind of help and aid in that strength training and stuff. But finding cardio that doesn't suck. I've done the treadmill thing for a long time and it's just so boring because you're just not going anywhere. But like finding something that you really enjoy, like Keith and I both recently bought like electric bikes and stuff. That's fun. It's
so fun.
And it's what I like about electric bikes. We were talking about this before we started recording, is that you can work as hard as you want to. My wife, Lynn, and I went on a 10-mile bike ride, and I probably pedaled about 8 miles of that. And the other 2 miles I was recovering between, I would get my heart rate up to, pretty high. And then I'd keep it there for a little while. Then I would like put the engine on and just let the motor kind of do some work while I calmed down, and then ramped it right back up again and stuff. And it's really, it's fun. So find something that is good cardio workout that you enjoy doing. Lynn and I like to go on daily walks, and it's our time to kind of connect together as a couple, plus we're exercising too. So that's a good,
that's cool.
Helpful suggestion. And I think just finding a coach, if you find somebody or a friend that can kind of hold you accountable. Accountability is so huge in developing a habit, and just having somebody that, will keep you going. I did CrossFit for a bunch of years, and I liked that a lot. At the time I was in my 30s, so it was easier for me to do than it would be now. But the best part I liked about that was just the community and accountability that came with it. And, just knowing people that would bust my chops literally if I didn't show up. So that also is a good suggestion too. But overall, just, to kind of sum this up, staying active really isn't about looking like we did in our 20s. Those days are long gone, but it's really about, the focus is just about feeling great, as good as we can in our 50s and 60s and beyond. So find something you enjoy doing. If it's lifting weights, walking the dog, walking with your spouse, just do anything. The important thing is just to keep moving and getting into a good habit. So it pays a lot of dividends for you mentally, physically, all aspects of life really. But anyway, that's what I wanted to, that's my part.
Well, you alluded to something that I think my wife and I have finally gotten in sync. And that's one thing we've learned, is we do a lot better if we're doing it together than if we're trying to do things separately. Right. And so, she was awesome at the Peloton. Like back in COVID times, she was killing it. But I was like you, Noel. I'm like, I'm bored. I'm literally riding a bike going nowhere, and my crotch hurts with the stupid seat that's on that bike. But anyway,
no doubt.
Oh, it was brutal. But and so we kind of kicked around things, and we decided on trying to find that special. We both agreed that outdoors is our happy place. So that's where we both invested in those. We went out of the country a couple of weeks ago, and we drove one. We rented one at the hotel we were at. Fell in love with it. We're like, this is awesome, because like you say, Noel, you can crank it as much as you want, like without any power. And that's what I like to do, is just see how good I can go. And then when like you said, when I didn't get one with the throttle, I kind of regret it. But at the same time, even if I just turn it to, power, I can still crank barely and recover. So it's not so bad, but I enjoyed it. But that's the thing, is we've decided, like, we've not only you can only, you can only work out how much you eat to a certain point, right? Or how bad you eat. And so I'll have to post it. Dawn, there's a lady that's a former Lakers cheerleader that has got a diet workout plan that we're sticking to pretty good. She's got a good food diet, as well as an exercise diet, exercise regimen. And so I'm sticking more to the food portion, and then doing my own. I think it's funny that you were talking about being a kid, because I think that's what I'm missing, is I sit at my office all day and stare at a screen. Come home, I sit on my TV all day on the couch and stare at a screen. And I'm like, this is not what I used to enjoy, that's why I thought I need to go and do, and I'm not talking pull freaking weeds. Like, I want to do something that makes me happy. I don't want to go, I guess I'll get outside, get healthy, pulling a tree by the root. That's not what I mean. Like, I want something that I'm like, and so I looked, I'm like, the things that made me happiest was riding my bike. Like, I loved riding my bike with my friends, and doing those kind of things. And I'm riding my bike to work now. I love it. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. So Dawn just showed me, she just sent me the name of the person. The name is, Bar Definition Train with Action Jacqueline is the lady's name. I'll post a link to it, but she's really good. I like her diet habits and stuff. Pretty neat. So, but
I alluded to a couple of apps. Sorry, Keith.
No, go.
I alluded to a couple of apps. I wanted to drop those in here too. Excuse me. I've used Shred, it's the name of the app, Fitbod, and Trainerize. All three of those have the ability to set up. I think Fitbod and Shred, I know, have the ability to set up like if you have a home gym, you can tell it like, these are the weights that I have. These are I have these bands or whatever. Like, you can put in all your equipment, and then that way when it generates a workout for you, it knows what equipment you have, and it'll obviously not give you like equipment that you don't have access to. So those three are good ones. Trainerize, like, all of those two have the ability to show you like how to do movements. So like I said, if you're not if you haven't been in the gym very much, or sometimes it's just good to have a trainer that can like tell you and demonstrate the motions for you so that you don't hurt yourself.
Yes.
But if you don't have an actual trainer, having these apps can at least show you like how to do stuff. But anyway, those are three that I've used before. And
I definitely don't want to be like those YouTube videos of those guys in the gym, that are doing those equipment wrong. Some of those are fun to watch.
Don't end up on YouTube. That's always a good thing. So,
so Steve, you've mentioned that you're doing a kind of a dietary regimen that's really had some interesting results for you.
Yeah. So, speaking of apps, been using the Simple app, and really the theme behind it is fasting 16 hours per day. And whenever I started this process, I was like, there's no way in hell that I can only eat 8 hours a day. But the cool thing is it allows you to pick what 8 hours of the day you want to eat. So I do 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And it's really sort of trained me to eat sensibly. Rob and I are doing the diet portion of it, the better eating portion of it together, and it's easier because we can eat the same thing, we prepare the same meals.
That's so big, so big. Like Steve, you and I were doing that Optavia, right, for a while, and it worked great. But man, when your spouse isn't quite doing the same thing because it's not the right food for that, man. You're right, Steve. Just doing it with your spouse. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt, but that's so key.
You bet. And so we go to the grocery store together, and it's never just one of us doing the shopping, because we want to sort of, we try to buy most of our groceries out of the produce section. We try to avoid buying stuff in a box. We try to avoid, stuff in a can can be, healthy, but it can also be really high in sodium. And so we try to be mindful of that. And you don't really notice that when you have like water retention and things like that. The big thing is when you eat more produce and fresh vegetables, it's amazing how much more we enjoy the meal and how much more satisfying the meal is. We sleep better because of it. The app that I've been using was simple. It tracks your food. It doesn't make you weigh it and stuff like that. It's very simple. Then also tracks your hydration, your activity, and so forth. And I'm still very much a couch potato because I have a very sedentary job. But I'm trying to force myself to go walking, and that's really like the next level for me and Rob. We're gonna eat better, start to feel better, and then really start getting the activity going as well, and take it to the next level. But it does take commitment. Very mindful of the fact that I still crave ice cream and stuff like that. But it's
my
like
bane of my existence, man. Ice cream and M&Ms.
Yeah. I mean, all three of us are guilty when our wives go out of town. We do our grocery shopping at the convenience store. I mean, that's something we all struggle with. But
you substitute Twizzlers for pasta.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Salsa over it is good.
Yeah, that sounds good. That's a spaghetti.
Yeah, it's a spicy meatball. But really the biggest thing, and where I find myself getting in trouble health wise, is not taking time to stay hydrated throughout the day. And so if you eat well, and then it's easy to drink a glass of water every hour. It really is. Yeah. Of course, when you're doing it right, you're flushing the toilet a lot more. But anyway. So that is a little bit about healthy eating habits. Yeah. That's how I built this temple that y'all see in front of y'all right now.
Hey, you know what though? I think that's what's important about this. One thing I was thinking about, we were talking about doing this episode is, we're at the point in our lives where, for a lot of us, we were carting kids to events, sports events. We were taking care of family. We were running to all over the place for our jobs. It's like, finally, and we had an empty nest thing last year, but it's like, we can actually kind of start focusing back on what we need for ourselves. And I think as a Gen X generation, this is that time where we can say, okay, look, I'm really tired of this sexy pear shape I've got going on. Which I do. I'm not talking about you, Steve. I'm talking about me. And and just start saying there's something I want to live old enough to enjoy my grandkids. I want to be able to play with them. I want to be 78 and want to take trips with my friends and my spouse and take those cruises where we make bad food decisions. But 20 years from now, 30 years from now, I'll still be able to do that. So I think that's where a lot of us, and the three of us are definitely part of that we're saying it's time. We've got to make some changes. We know that. It's tough, and we've fallen off. I mean, I will not speak for you all, but I have done so good and fallen off the ladder, and it's just the consistency is the thing. We're in an instant and expect results immediately society, and it's really hard to be regimented to make sure that that what you're doing is good for you in the long run. You expect results tomorrow, and you just can't expect that. So
it takes consistency is key.
Yeah, it is.
So we're going to wrap this up and come back next week with part 2 of this episode. But we hope you're enjoying this episode on Gen X health. And we will see you next week to discuss the rest. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in the Gen X Journey podcast belong solely to the hosts and guests and do not necessarily represent the views or opinions of any entity they are associated with. The information provided is for entertainment and informational purposes only and should not be considered professional advice. Listeners are encouraged to seek the advice of qualified professionals for any specific issues they may face. The creators and contributors of this podcast make no representations as to the accuracy, completeness, or validity of any information, and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its use.